Hello folks, and welcome back to the little corner of the internet that I like to call home. My name is Dominoid and it is time to play. So yes, I have been to the Play Expo in Blackpool at the lovely, classy Norbreck Hotel. It's an ideal location for people who like sticky carpets and decor that looks like it hasn't been updated since the 1980s. And I'm reliably informed by somebody who was there in the 1980s, it probably hasn't. At least it doesn't look like it has. Dubious location aside, though, I did have an absolutely fantastic weekend. I met some lovely people there. Made some new friends, met some old ones. There was some brilliant panels and events. I got to go on the Sega Activator. Didn't take any video of that because nobody needs to see a man as fat as me dancing around trying to control Sonic the Hedgehog with infrared beams. There were some really good panels. There was two from Retro and Lim, one for the ladies, one for the gentlemen of retro gaming. There was an appearance from Playtonic Games, creator of the Ukulele series, and many of their team, of course, made the Banjo-Kazooie games back in the day. Hewson, the people who brought us games like Nebulous, they were there. It was really good. My personal highlight was the Gaming Muso, who did a set of hard rock versions of old video game soundtracks, which is something he does brilliantly. He's got an album out. He did that gig. He's going to be at Margate performing it, we believe, going by rumours that are circulating around the internet now. If you don't already know him, do check out his channel. I'll put a link in the description below. But anyway, you are not here, are you, to find out about what a lovely weekend I had? No, you want to see what lovely gaming goodies I picked up. Well, let's run through them. First of all, it's a non-gaming item, but I have to show it off because it is so cool. There was a company called Hand Cut by Lasers there, and they make laser engravings of various different things. A lot of retro gaming stuff, but a lot of general sci-fi, horror, just general geek culture. And I picked up this, which is a laser carved Lament configuration cube, which is from the Hellraiser series of films, if you are not familiar. Basically, it's a puzzle cube. You play around with it for a bit, and then demons come out and eat your soul. It's lovely, but I haven't yet managed to get any demons to come out. Once I work out how this works, I shall be handing it to people I don't like. So on to the gaming stuff, and first of all, it's not a game, but I got some decoration for the game room. As you can see, I do like to cover the game room in posters, but we have a few areas where I haven't got anything at the moment because I kind of can't find something that fits. So to fit those wide but not hugely tall areas, I found this. It's a reprint of the Outrun marquee. It's real vinyl as well, this. It's not a poster. It's actually a vinyl print. Really high quality, really nicely done. Obviously not official, but really does look official. Outrun was there at the Expo. I did not get a chance to play on it, but I did hear Muso playing some of the songs from it, so that was good. But every time I went to it, the cabinet was in use. It was so popular, and you know, it's the hydraulic one. Yeah, you absolutely got to get up early to get a chance on something like that. They also had the hydraulic Space Harrier cabinet as well, which again didn't manage to get a chance. I tried queuing a few times, but I'm very lazy, so didn't hang around. And it was very near the Mr. Do machine, so I just got bored and wandered off and played Mr. Do. Right, next, system that's not particularly retro, the Nintendo DS, but I've got a couple of games which kind of count as retro. Blood Bowl. I love the Blood Bowl games. I have them on pretty much every system, I think, now, with having this DS version. It's just nice to be able to play it whilst on the move. And I know I've got the Android version, but yeah, it's great. If you don't know Blood Bowl, it's kind of like a cross between American football and beating people up. It's set in the Warhammer Fantasy universe, and it basically features orcs and goblins and elves and so on fighting for control of what is essentially an American football pitch. Not particularly retro, but I did want to pick it up. At the same time, I also picked up this DS game, which is a lot more retro, the Sonic Collection, or the Sonic Classic Collection. Now, the reason this one was quite a good pickup for me is because of the games that are on it. If we have a look on the back here, it has got all of the Mega Drive Sonic the Hedgehog games: Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, and Sonic and Knuckles. Now, you very rarely see Sonic and Knuckles on any Sonic compilations, and you almost never see Sonic 3. Now, there is a rumour that Michael Jackson did some of the soundtrack for Sonic 3. There's a lot of credence to that. There's quite a few people that have come out and said, yes, we heard that he was involved with it, or that we've worked with him. But nobody's gone on record and put an official statement out. But that is assumed to be the reason for it being very rarely re-released. Because obviously certain bad news stories followed Michael Jackson, and the rumour is that Sega didn't want to have any part of that. The other rumour is that Michael Jackson's estate won't allow the soundtrack to be re-released because he still has copyright to it, although he is not credited anywhere in the game. Either way, nobody knows, and you never see Sonic 3 on any compilations nowadays, and it's really quite sad. It's not on the Mega Drive Mini, it's not on any of the AT games re-releases, it's not on the Mega Drive collection, the Genesis collection. It's just noticeably absent everywhere. But this DS game, it does have all four of them, and you can play it as a lock-on. So with Sonic and Knuckles, of course, you could plug in Sonic 2 or Sonic 3, and you could play Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 3. You can do that with this compilation as well. So that's a really nice little find, and it's one of the few ways to play Sonic and Knuckles and Sonic 3 on the move. Obviously, Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 you can get everywhere and for everything. I'm sure they've been ported to the TI-99 calculator by now. The TI-84, the TI-99 was a computer. I knew what I meant. Anyway, yeah, pleased with that. So that's the not hugely retro stuff out of the way. Let's move on to the much more retro stuff. I'm going to start with Amstrad because, as we all know, I love Amstrad. Now, you probably know that I am collecting Amstrad Action cover tapes. I managed to pick up tape 15 and tape 19. So I've now got almost all of the Action Pack tapes. Classic collection obviously needs a fair few more, and these ones, when they were just loose cassettes, I do have quite a few of these to pick up. This one is not in brilliant condition and may not work at all, but I will try giving it a little bit of tender loving care, and hopefully it works. But if it doesn't, it only cost me £1. But this is the AA birthday gift pack. It had Shinobi on it. It had Dalek's game on it. There's a spreadsheet which I never used, and it had a demo of the Untouchables, I want to say. Well, that might have been a different one. But what it did have is a program called Self-Destruct, which I used to play with all the time as a kid. And basically all it did is it brought up the basic screen and it made it look like your Amstrad was self-destructing, and it made lots of bleepy hissing noises as if it was going to blow up. And it was designed as a prank to scare your parents, and frankly it didn't work, but it was a very cool thing at the time. Probably it doesn't seem quite so amazing by modern standards, but what are you going to do? Next, I've got a couple of Amsoft games. I have got the Scout Steps Out and Doors of Doom. Now, Cinevision did a thing a while back about 10 great Amsoft games that you should play. I think it was 10. It was a number of Amsoft games that are quite good, not the ones that were free with the computer. And these were featured within it. The Doors of Doom tape actually has the instruction manual, the little tiny instruction manual still with it, which is pretty cool. So I haven't played these. I've been looking forward to getting around to playing them. I may not actually play them from these tapes, because I do have an M4 card in the Spectrum. More news on that in a future video. But it's nice to have them. I do like to collect my Amstrad things. And finally, one more cassette game. This time for the Spectrum, I picked up a copy of Gary Lineker's Super Skills. Because I want to see Gary Lineker doing some squat thrusts. If you don't know, Nicky and Bunty recently did a stream where they played some awful Spectrum games, and this was one of them, and it was then followed up by a frankly hilarious video on Gary Lineker's Super Skills on its own. If you haven't already seen that, I thoroughly recommend you watch it. I might do a video on this myself at some point in the future, but I'll wait a while, because what's the point of competing with Nicky and Bunty? I'll never be that good. So next up, we have a PC game, and I was really pleased with this. This cost me 10 quid. It's Discworld Noir. Now, it is the Best of Infogrames re-release version, but nonetheless, it is still Discworld Noir for a tenner. Now, this is a really difficult game to get hold of. It's never been re-released. It's not available on GOG or Steam or any of those things. It has... obviously, well, I say it's never been re-released. It was re-released on this. But since this re-release in 1999, it has not seen the light of day. And that's a shame, because it's such a great game. Terry Pratchett is one of my favourite authors of all time, and these were fantastic little point-and-click adventures. This one was released on the PlayStation 1 and the PC, I believe. I don't think there was a Saturn version. There was of the first game, but I don't think Infogrames were doing anything for Sega at that point, because I don't think it came out... Well, it would have been the Dreamcast at the time that this came out, but I'm pretty sure it didn't come out for that. So, yeah, if you haven't already played it, it's well worth getting hold of, but you will need to get an original copy, because it's one of those PC games which has had the IP rights lost in the mires of time and has not managed to get re-released on GOG or any of those sort of platforms, which is a shame. But nonetheless, I've got it now, and I can play it on the PC, so yay. Next up, also on CDs, but not for the PC, I have got some more CDI games. Now, I have got a CDI video in editing at the moment, but it won't be out at the time that I release this, so you probably won't already be aware that I recently picked up a CDI, and it's something I'm slightly obsessed with now. So I've got a few extra games for it. I've got this here, and this is one of the sort of the funky longer CDI boxes before they started just putting them in regular CD cases. It is Create Your Own Caricature. It's made by the people who made Spitting Image, as you can tell with the Spitting Image Margaret Thatcher puppet on the front, and basically it is messing around with photos to make caricatures out of them. So yeah, I might make some more channel artwork with this. So prepare yourself for hours of fun and facial mayhem with Caricature. Well, it says Create Your Own Caricature with Spitting Image on the front, and it just says Caricature here. It's just called that. And then on the side it just says Caricature. Decide what your game is called, Phillips. With a few simple clicks on the CDI controller, you can distort, disfigure, or improve some very famous faces from a library of over 100 photos on this disc. Included amongst these are royalty, politicians, sportsmen and women, and celebrities. As an added bonus, some photographs hold a short video clip of your of your chosen personalities as realised by Spitting Image. So it's got clips from Spitting Image in it, basically. Even better, by using a photo CD disc, you can create caricatures of your own family, friends, enemies, or pets. Well, this might actually get a video of its own, I think. This looks like it's going to be fun. And with the help of Spitting Image, you can explore the realms of caricature from its 18th century origins through to the present day, learn the background behind Spitting Image, and acquire some tips on the techniques of caricaturing, followed by a demonstration. With this disc, anyone can create expert caricatures of almost anyone else in next to no time at all. I imagine it's probably no different to the stuff that people are doing now with filters on Snapchat and the like, but still, it looks like it's going to be fun, and if it's not, then you'll probably never hear from me talk about it again. Next, I had to get this because it's just so fantastically weird. Cook up thousands of faces in Face Kitchen. Face Kitchen. Yeah, there it is on the back. You can see it looks like it's just sort of a little cartoon drawing-y type game. But let's have a little read of the blurb on the back, because this is just a touch disturbing. Ubi the French chef has a wonderful kitchen where he stores hundreds of features to cook up his faces. There are eyes and ears in cupboards, noses in the refrigerator, mouths in the freezer, and hats under the sink. All right, Jeffrey Dahmer, calm down. With the help of your imagination, Ubi flies about mixing features into his bowl to create the craziest and funniest faces you can devise. From hundreds of features, you'll be able to build thousands of faces, which once baked in the oven, will reveal their characters by telling a tale, reciting a poem, or singing a song, or cracking a joke. Face Kitchen will delight children, but don't be surprised when adults get caught up in the fun too. I mean, I've seen documentaries about Ed Gein. I know what happens when adults get caught up in the fun of taking bits of people's faces, and it's not pretty, quite frankly. So yeah, that's disturbing. But it was just so ridiculous. I had to get it. Absolutely had to. So yeah, that's the CDI games I picked up. There's one last thing, which actually this, in fact, once I take it out of this rather unnecessary plastic bag, it's still sealed. Now, I'm not a sealed game collector. I will open this and play it because it's not going to have any value anyway, is it? But that's really cool. I haven't had a sealed Atari ST game before. So this is Titus the Fox, subtitled To Marrakesh and Back. Now, this is quite an interesting one. So Titus was, of course, the fox that was the logo for the software house Titus, who made this game. This game was actually released in France under a different name. It was a spin-off for a popular French comedian. But of course, he was only popular in France, so it really wouldn't have sold under that title in the rest of the world. So in order to come up with some way of giving it a release in the rest of the world, they came up with the idea of sprite swapping the comedian with their own mascot, Titus. Therefore, also, of course, cleverly having to avoid paying any copyright fees for the image of said comedian outside of France, and they released it as that. There was only one Titus the Fox game. It never got a sequel, but I remember playing a demo of it on the Amstrad, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I've never played the Atari ST version, so I'm looking forward to cracking this shrink wrap open and playing it on the ST up there. So that is everything from my Play Expo haul. I have very much enjoyed showing it to you. Let me know down below in the comments what you think and what you think of me. Am I a terrible person for wanting to open that Titus game? Probably, but I don't care, really. Remember to like and to subscribe and ring that bell and all those kind of things that help me climb the algorithm. And if you really enjoy what I do, then maybe consider checking out my Patreon. No pressure, but it'd be great if you had a look. And if you feel like donating anything at all, then I would love you even more than I already do. But if you don't, I still love you, so it's fine. Anyway, I've been Dominoid. You've been lovely. Thank you very much for your time. And as always, cheers and goodbye.